Are we live?
Okay, you're all set.
Thank you, Troy. We'll call the regular council meeting in the town of Grand Bay Westfield on today, Monday, February the 22nd, to order. And we're going to kick off tonight's council meeting with a very special event. And that is to acknowledge the long-term service of our administrative assistant, Linda Thompson. Linda has been first with the village of Westfield, as Deputy Mayor likely could attest to. And then when we incorporated and became our own community in 1998, she came over to us. Linda, that was a good day for us, may I say. I really mean that. It was, you've been an amazing employee. I watch your quiet nature and your demeanor in this office all the time. You always have a smile, Linda, all the time. And you're going to be missed. But we want to present you with this plaque in recognition of 30 years of service. And it states, Linda, as you know, you would have ordered them, most of them for heaven's sakes, to be an efficient, effective, and flexible organization, responsible for the overall good of the community, enhancing quality of life by being sensitive to community needs in an ever-changing and complex environment. Presented to Linda Thompson in recognition of 30 years of service from the town of Grand Bay Westfield. And because we're in COVID, we have to maintain our 6 feet distance. So I'm going to present it to her. You can pick it up on the way out. There is also a letter here, Linda, wishing you on behalf of council, all of our council, we wish to offer you our very best wishes as you retire and a very sincere thank you for all of your work over the past 30 years as administrative assistant. We were very fortunate to have you and are truly grateful for the commitment and dedication you brought to your employment with the town. We wish you many years of good health and happiness in your retirement. We will, however, miss you, Linda Thompson, and that smiling face.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations, Linda. It won't be the same here without you. I mean, council can tell you, you've been you heard all the cats, Linda. Every time we had things that needed to be done, you always got that wonderful job of checking up on all of us to make sure we were going somewhere or we had completed something, and it was always Linda's job. She had the right nature for that. I'm sure you'll agree, council. Look, we're thrilled, Linda, to have spent those last years with you, and we're just thrilled that you've been a part of our organization. Thank you very much, my dear. John?
Linda, I'm going to step over that.
Well, that's
Yeah, so I can stand up.
okay.
So Linda, it has been great the last few months getting to know you and work with you. You make the air so much lighter. Some of us are too serious sometimes, and it's always your laugh that we hear. And that laughter is going to be Miss Linda. And I have a letter here from the AM&B, and Danielle, on behalf of the organization, says, "We thank Linda for her years of service to her community and wish her well in her retirement. The Association of Municipal Administrators of New Brunswick recognizes members' contributions and commitment to local government, the mission, goals, and objectives of the association." So that's from Danielle. And then, on behalf of all of us, here's a certificate for you.
Yes, thank you.
For 30 years, herding cats. And I think it's safe to say too, Linda, that over your career, you've seen the best and the worst of people. And I just hope that the rest of us can have a career like yours as well.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to miss you, Linda.
I appreciate that.
However, you've earned your retirement, Linda, and look, we know you've got grandchildren that you just absolutely adore, and you'll get to spend all kinds more time with them, and a dad that is, I'm sure, waiting for you to come and visit.
He is.
So we just wish you all the very best. You have earned it, Linda, and I just hope the remainder of your days are just glorious, every single
thank
one.
Thank you. Sorry,
Thank
I
you,
can't hug.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Here, everybody. It's all for you, Linda. Did you want to say anything?
Look, it's just probably been the best job I could ever imagine. Working in the community, I love working with the people that have been an amazing team. We have wonderful counselors. All through the years, worked so well together. The staff here at the town couldn't ask for better people to work with. And that says how long they've all been here too, as well as myself. We've always been a team, work well together, and had the best of our community is what we worked and strive for. So it's been a great job. I'm going to miss this, and I'll try not to get emotional. But no.
When you miss us, you can just drop in.
I know. That's my point. I don't have to stay.
That's right. Stay as long as you like.
Yes.
Linda, thank you, and thank you for coming out tonight. I know it's storming out there, and I know we had to do this differently because of COVID. This isn't normally how we would manage. To Linda's family who are watching, we just want you to know how much she's been appreciated. We know you're watching, and we love her as much as you guys. So look, take good care of her when you get her home all to yourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
I'm going to set this here, and then you can pick these up as you go out.
Okay.
I'll give you the bag too,
All right.
and that way we won't break our distancing
Yes, not.
rules. And there's your phone there, so I'm going to come out and get out of your way.
Okay.
There you go.
Congratulations.
Thanks, good luck, Linda.
You're welcome. Thank you all. You've been a great team. I'm so glad to have worked with you all these years.
I'm gonna miss those reminder emails.
Yeah. Sorry.
Urban cat.
And the phone calls. I know, Steve. I love calling you.
Oh, thank God for you, Linda. I'm gonna miss you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn, so much.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Linda.
See you tomorrow. John.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Good night, Linda.
Oh, what a great lady.
Yeah, top shelf.
Excellent.
Very blessed to have her, that's what I'll say.
That Ernie Thompson and David Thompson, two lucky boys.
I know, went to kids' school with our kids, and yep, absolutely. Or you went to school with hers. Hers went to school with mine. So we're going to move on to item 2.
Oh, attendance?
Let the record reflect full council is in attendance. Item 3, please.
Agenda approval?
Motion to adopt is presented with the addition of 1511, the fire service strategic plan.
Is there a seconder? Thank you,
Seconded.
Councillor Snodgrass. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. And your item is 4, please.
Conflict of interest?
Is there any? There being none, we'll move to item 6.
We just did a public presentation.
Public
for-
hearing, or I'm sorry, item 5, John, I'm sorry.
Public hearing.
Thank you. None. Item 6,
We just did a presentation. for-
public presentations that we've already done to Linda Thompson. Item 7, please.
Regular minutes for February 8th, 2021.
Motion to
Can I have a
adopt.
motion? Thank you. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion's carried. 7-2, please.
The tender notes of February 17, 2021 regarding the vacuum street sweeping services, bid number T01-2021.
Motion
To receive and file.
Thank you,
seconded.
Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Day. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried, and your item is 7-3, please.
Minutes of the River Valley Community Center meeting on November 17, 2020.
Make a motion, receive and file.
Seconded.
On the question, they were their November meeting minutes, I think, if I recall that correctly. So if John, if you're indicate, yeah, oh, I'm sorry, Councillor Snodgrass.
I was just gonna, I think they're doing a fantastic job. The minutes are well written. I was just gonna offer a word of caution. There's a couple of items there that I think are borderline. They should probably be done in private session. You're dealing with, closed session, because you're dealing with.
I seen that, Ryan. I know the item you refer to, and that's correct.
I was just gonna suggest.
So that's a good suggestion to give to our representative, Councillor Bailmans, and perhaps you two could have a conversation about that.
Okay.
With advice. Thank you. On the question of receive and file, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 8, please.
Bills for payment.
Make a motion, we pay the bills as outlined on the bills for payment agenda.
300.
Yes, John, would you, John, please just read out the amount, please?
$307,456.26.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 9.
Consent agenda,
None. Item 10.
business arising from minutes for February 8th, 2021.
My mask off now, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there any? There being none, we'll move to item 11, please.
Delegations,
None. Item 12.
petitions,
None. Item 13.
bylaws, plastic bag reduction bylaw, third reading. You want me to read that?
Can we move third reading by title and enactment of bylaw number 67?
So moved.
Thank
Seconded.
you. Thank you. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Please proceed, John.
Okay. Notice 14.
No, third reading by title and
Just gonna
enactment.
say,
Yeah.
bylaw number 67, Town of Grand Bay Westfield bylaw respecting the reduction of the single-use plastic bags for the third time by title and enactment.
Thank you. Item 14, please.
Notice of motions,
Are there any? There being none, we're going to move on to item 15, particularly 15.1.
UMBSJ MBA internship.
Like to make a motion, the town of Grand Bay Westfield approve the hiring of an MBA intern through UMBSJ MBA program to complete a long-term capital plan for a cost not exceeding $5,000 plus the incidental costs.
Seconded.
On the question, we have a mover, Councillor Evans, seconded by Councillor Day. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 15.2, please.
Communications plan.
You have a communications plan there for your consideration, Council.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the communication plan as presented.
Seconded.
On the question, John, do you want to speak to that at all?
Well, thank you, Council. There's 9 objectives, most of them to be carried out by the end of the current year. And I don't have it right in front of me, but it's to try and be fundamentally, how can we be more transparent with our
That's right.
community? And how can we ensure that we provide our residents with the information that they need at the appropriate time?
I think that's important. Councillor Snodgrass?
No, I was just going to echo, I think what you were just about to say. I think, I think this is a very good starting point. It's a living document that'll evolve over time, but I think there's a lot of things here. When I first came on council, was to try and improve, communication within the community, to try and make it so that people are well aware of what is going on down here, that it's pretty open and transparent, but, I think there's always room for improvement. And I think these are, knocking off some of these items this year is really going to help open that up even more. So I salute you, John, for jumping on that right away. One of the first items that you've tackled since coming on board. And I think you've done a pretty good job.
Councillor Evans?
Yeah, I just want to say part of the battle in the community is when you're talking, whether it's engaging with residents online or at the grocery store or over the old-fashioned telephone. A lot of times when you explain things and educate the person on all the angles of the situation, normally most reasonable people tend to agree with most of the actions, not fully, but so I think it's really important that there is the tools to be open. They can log on to this, they can show up to a meeting, but the reality is I think we have to have more tools, and for the people that don't have time for that they get educated and they get to know what's going on in our community. So I think it just works out best for everyone.
Thank you, Councillor Evans. Well said, because I would just finish up with, look, for me, I'm not as perhaps as voracious a user of virtual media as some of my younger colleagues here, but I was used to, that's what COVID really highlighted for me, because the conversations, the transparency of what went on here, I would always just have those conversations with people out and about the community. The last year has not permitted that sort of exchange. And so I'm very grateful to have a communications plan that will keep us transparent, open, and share with our community all of the things that is shared with us, that we may all go forward together. So thank you, John, and thanks to all who worked on the communication strategy. On the question, all those in favor? Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 15.3, please.
Vacuum Street Sweeping Services Award.
I'd
I make a motion that the council of the town of Grand Bay Westfield award tender T01-2021 for vacuum street sweeping services to Philip Brothers Excavating Limited for the tender price of $23,500.06 plus $3,525.01 HST for the year 2021, with opportunities to extend for 1 year in each of 2022 and 2023.
Seconded.
Thank you, Councillor Day. And just to point out, Council, as you know, we adopted the tender minutes, that we only got one bid for that. But the good news is that Philip Brothers has been our vacuum street cleaning company for the last number of years, I think perhaps 4 of them. So we're grateful to have them back again at such a reasonable price. So on the question of award, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried, and your item is 15-4, please.
The new Regional Economic Development Agency of Greater St. John Members Agreement.
I'll move that the council of Town of Grand Bay Westfield authorize mayor and CAO to sign the new Regional Economic Development Agency Greater St. John Members Agreement, and that the council of the Town of Grand Bay Westfield authorize the mayor and CAO to sign the new Regional Economic Development Agency Greater St. John funding agreement.
Second.
Sorry.
Actually, they're 2 separate items on the agenda.
Yeah, I've broken them up as 2 separate items. We just do the members agreement as one item, and then we come back and do a separate resolution for the funding agreement.
Is that okay with the mover, Ryan?
That's fine with me.
Perfect. And the seconder was Councillor Evans or Councillor Day? Councillor
that's
Evans.
good.
Thank you. Thank you, and it's good with you too. So motion to proceed to signatures by the CAO and myself on the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried, and your item is 15-5, please.
I move that the council of the Town of Grand Bay Westfield authorize the mayor and CAO to sign the new Regional Economic Development Agency Greater St. John funding agreement.
Seconded.
You had to make me read that twice, right?
You could use that acronym.
2 times. We got to take up time. Make sure you're all paying attention. So on the question, I think we're going to get John just to give us a bit of an overview for those who may be watching. There's been a heck of a lot of work. We've been working on this began with the advisory committee last May or June or something. We're almost a year in. Finally, we're ready to go, and John has had an amazing amount of time and work entered into these agreements. So John, do you just want to speak to them a little bit for the people who may be watching?
So the advisory committee that started the work almost a year ago, I guess, about a year ago, developed what was called the prospectus. And that prospectus was something that all the councils in the area agreed upon last July, I think it was. And then the task set before the CAOs was, how do we take these aspirations and put that into legal language for an agreement? And as you can imagine, with 5 CAOs, we had a fair bit of discussion about it. But some of the highlights are, and I think this is the most important, is that the agency is going to be, to a certain extent, arm's length from council. However, the key decisions are the responsibility of council. And the key decisions are these. Council approves the strategic plan, the annual business plan, any amendments to the bylaws, and just to let council know, the hard work on developing these types of agreements isn't over. The next step is developing our bylaws. If there's any borrowing, if there's any guarantees, if there's an amalgamation with an agency, we don't foresee anything like that right now. The establishment or acquisition of a subsidiary, and then any dissolution, liquidation, or winding up of the agency or its subsidiary. If council so chooses, we can have our own economic development professional on staff here, independent of the agency. And the core services and programs that the new agency is delivering is that fundamentally it's the principal organization concerned with all aspects of economic growth within the region. And some of those things include marketing, promotion, and branding, people attraction. You can think of that as how do we enlarge our population, growth sector development, tourism development, entrepreneurial ecosystem growth, economic data decision support. So making sure that we have the information we need to make good decisions. Economic infrastructure development, such as Fundee Key. Municipal economic development. So how can we, for an example, develop Colonel Nays here? Stakeholder relations, ecosystem development within an economic development context, and private sector development, and may provide other services as may be approved, such as administrating the accommodation levy. And so then they're going to be providing quarterly reports to council on how they're doing against the key performance indicators, which outlines how successful the strategic plan is or isn't going. There's going to be an annual meeting, and only municipalities can be members. And so that means there's going to be Hampton, St. Martin's at the associate level, and then Quispamsis, Rothsay, St. John, and then Grand Bay Westfield. And of course, with so many different parties, there's always the possibility that because of human nature, there's going to be disputes, and we have a dispute resolution system. It's a high-level overview of that.
Thank you, John. That was high level, but you can see what's taken so much time. I mean, between all of our communities coming to full agreement, but I'm proud to say that this Southern New Brunswick is not new to coming to agreements to be able to work together. We've been doing it. In fact, we incorporated under it in 1998. And so to expand upon that, the timing is good, I think, and it should reap many, many benefits for us as a community as we go forward. So on the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried, and that's going to leave us proceeding to item 15.6, please.
Sorry, did you want me to do a highlight of the funding agreement too?
Yes, you could. It would be good for the community to know what's going to cost us. So before we proceed to item 15.6, we'll back up a little bit and just give you the high level introduction to the funding agreement.
One of the things that's in here as well is, and this has been indicated to me numerous times, is that the local service districts be contributors to the funding agreement. And so the province and the agency will be working together to do that, actually sit on that committee. Over the next 3 years, the town of Grand Bay Westfield will be contributing up to $148,000, with $36,000 this year, 48 in 2022, 64 in 2023, and then it ramps up some more. In 2024, it'll be 84,000, and 2025 and 118,000 for a total of $350,000 over 5 years. The agency is independent of the town. We're not responsible for any debts or obligations that it's incurred. And it's a 5-year agreement, and there's an opt-out phase for underperformance after the 3rd year. And then after the 5th year, we can determine if we're going to be staying or not. I'd just like to comment, if I may, Your Worship, that over the short term, I'm concerned that we're going to see the return on the investment that we normally may like to see. However, over the long term, I think that this is a terrific deal for the town. We just have to get over the growing pains at the beginning as things ramp up. Typically, a lot of big projects, it takes years to see them realized. And, the Fundee Key announcement is one where, how long that took.
20 years anyway.
And how long has the town been working on Colonel Nays independently? And we haven't been able to see the traction there. So I just wanted to encourage this council and the next council to be a little bit patient. Over the long term, I think this is an excellent move.
Thank you, John. And it wouldn't hurt then either to identify the new CEO for those of you who may be watching who haven't seen that. Her name is Paulette Hicks. She was, as it happens, one of the founding members of the advisory committee that came to us with the prospectus. She is, in my very humble opinion, an amazing choice. She certainly understands what it means to all of our communities to grow. We've had long conversations about the investment that we're making and how we ensure that the tax revenue realized from that investment will be greater than that. She certainly understands that, and she has committed her time and effort to all of the communities that are involved in this new report. So that would finish that. So then we're going to proceed to item 15.6, please.
Local government reform.
Your item is 15.6.
Motion to receive and file.
On the question,
I got another.
sorry, Stephen?
Was it just, we look at just for receive and file?
Yes.
Yes, there's been a motion to receive and file and a seconder. On the question,
I thought,
did you have something? Go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say, the UMMB, they recommended recently for each council to put this on their agenda to bring up the issue and make sure it's highlighted for residents in the community to understand that there is a review underway in the province that's going to look at local governance reform. And all indications are there, the status quo is not going to be an option. There will be changes and it will impact just about everybody. So I think it's important that everybody become informed, understand when and where their opportunities are to get engaged in the discussion, provide their input, and be aware of it before the green paper comes out and eventually the white paper. Now's your chance and now's your opportunity to have a say. And I think John put together a pretty good report here to highlight, basically what's going on and some of the concerns and the issues from our municipality's perspective that need to be hopefully considered by the province when they're making their decisions. So anyway, that's all I had to say on that. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Snodgrass. Did I see any other hands? Councillor Evans, please.
Yeah, the other thing, and maybe some people on here that are looking at running in the May elections to be on council or be mayor. I think this is going to be the biggest issue facing them when they arrive, and it could be overwhelming if you're trying to, hopefully though, it's a good time they get involved now and take part in this process and and when they arrive on scene, they'll be that much ready to deal with it because it is going to be our biggest issue.
Clearly. So thank you for those comments. It is, as I think I said a little while ago, I've been through this process once in a building community of communities back in 97. We sat in 11 or 13 communities and sat for 6 months understanding what the issues were. And look, I look forward to this exercise again. Anything worth its salt is worth looking at. We should be able to withstand anything. I was pleased to hear the minister. We did have the Minister of Local Government meet with us 2 weeks ago at our last meeting. And he indicated that there would be no one size fits all because, and I agree with that. There is no way that there is going to be one solution in this province that is going to satisfy everyone. People are at different, as I've clearly indicated, we've been through a lot of that. There has been not another example of that since we did it. So it will be, certainly I would say we're well ahead. The Economic Development Agency leaves us well ahead. And I think they will all benefit us well. So it's just interested in how this is going to go forward and that I would encourage the province to be transparent and open and really open to the positions of others. People are afraid of change. We found that when we went through it last time. And as the minister asked me, I think it took about 10 years to get most of the people who were involved last time comfortable with the new town of Grand Bay Westfield. I would say today, I believe most of them are. So that's, we look forward to the furthering discussion and are pleased to know that it will not be a one size fits all outcome. So thank you, everybody. On the question, all those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, Councillor Snodgrass.
I wanted to ask if maybe could we put the links that are in the report on our website for the residents to be able to follow along? There's the government of New Brunswick's website on local governance reform, as well as UMNB. They've got some weekly bulletins with some really good insight and information there that people could follow along if they're not aware of what's going on.
Report on the website.
I'm sorry, John, do you want
my report on the website, Jen?
Yes, I think that's what he's looking for. You're looking for John's report on the website so that people can follow along at which phase we are and what we're looking for.
It could be our report, or it could be just the links at the very top of the report. It makes no difference to me.
There you go. You okay?
Whatever's easiest.
Good. Thanks, everyone. On the question, all those in favor? Contrary minded? Your motion, wait a minute.
Yeah, 15-7.
15-7, thank you.
Community Center Revitalization, the IBA ISIP application.
You're looking for a motion for authorization of signatures?
Receive and file.
Just receive and file at this point.
So moved.
Second it.
On the question, this ISIP application is for assistance for the Centrum renovations and on the exterior. So once we have authorization and approval, that'll be the next thing that'll come to the public agenda. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. And your item is 15-8, please.
Community Center Revitalization, a generator.
You have a report in your kit on the price to proceed to purchase of a generator for this building, for the Centrum building.
Make
you,
a
Stephen.
motion, town of Granby Westfield authorize Dillon Consulting on behalf of the town to place an order for purchase of Kohler 125 kilowatt generator from Sampson Equipment Limited at a total cost of $59,995 plus applicable taxes.
Thank you,
Seconded.
Stephen. Thank you, Bev. On the question, look, this is, I have to take a moment to mention our former Deputy Mayor McGowan and Councillor Diane McGowan. She was a big part of the ambulance service here. And before she finished up her time on council with us, she was always such a proponent of getting this generator and getting this place wired so that EMO could still operate, that there was a place that would always have water, the town could still function, fire, all of those things at least one location. And in fact, ambulance, some of the funds that were in the ambulance were saved and set aside to pay for this. So look, I am mindful of Diane tonight as we award this, and remember and thank her for all the effort and time she put into this. Councillor Evans?
Yeah, that's been such a long time coming, this generator. I didn't think it was going to be a generational project, but
Yes.
like it's holy cow. But it's awesome. I'm really excited and it's happening.
We'll always have a place with power when we're under the weather. So on the question, all those in favor? Contrary minded? Your motion is carried and your item is 15-9, please.
Mothers Against Drinking and Driving, granite bench replacement.
Make a motion that the council of the town of Granby Westfield permit MAD to replace the granite bench near the cenotaph at their expense.
Seconded.
On the question, John?
So I would just ask council to further that this is not a precedent for other groups or individuals to place non-conforming benches.
So moved.
Thank you. Addendum, is that okay with the seconder? Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. So I think the seconder was you, Bev?
Yep.
Yes. So on the question, I just want to point out that to John's point, the furthering little statement he wanted to put on that, we have, since MAD came to us to put in that granite bench, we have developed a bench policy. And that policy would not have accommodated MAD in the way that it is. That said, we are permitting that because MAD, that's a huge investment of cash, first of all, their granite bench there. And the second part of it is it pre-existed the policy. Were it not for the vandalism that broke the first one, it would still be there. So that is why we're managing this the way we are. So on the question of accepting the gift from MAD, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried and your item is 15-10, please.
Climate Change Adaptation Plan.
Make a motion to receive and file.
Seconded.
On the question, I'm just going to have John, can you speak to that? Have you got there's a message there from Julie DeSenko from Dillon.
So the original thing that when I laid out a growth strategy with council last year, we anticipated that the adaptation plan would come to council at this meeting. We weren't able to do that. So Julie's just sent a bit of a memo indicating what's happened, and that the current date will be March 22nd for council to review and recommend the report for approval. And I'd just like to say to council that there's a number of things that administration is already achieving regarding the adaptation plan. There'll be some new challenges, of course, but we're well on our way. And so March 22nd is what we're looking at for a review and acceptance by council.
Thank you, John. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 1511, please.
Fire Department Strategic Plan.
I'll make a motion that we adopt as presented.
Second it.
On the question, council we've added this tonight because it was left off in error, but that doesn't mean that we haven't had time to talk about it. We have had a session with the fire chief. We've gone over it. He's made the changes that were recommended. And as such, they're reflected in this new strategic plan. We thank them for all of their efforts. On the question of adoption, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 16, please.
Council meeting dates. Do you want me to read this one?
Council meeting, yes, please.
That the council of the town of Grand Bay Westfield cancel the regular meeting of council of March 8th, with the regular meeting of council be held on March 22nd, 2021 to be held as scheduled.
And a meeting to be called within 24 hours notice if necessary.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can we have a mover? Thank you, Bev. Seconded by Councillor Snodgrass. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. So we'll see you 4 weeks from tonight because we're in a 4-week month in February. So we'll see you the same time next month, 4 weeks from now. And your item is 17.
Adjournment.
So moved.
Second it.
Thank you, Councillor Bailmans. We wanted to hear from you. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? We are adjourned at 8:09. Thanks, council, so much.
Night, everyone.